Ladies and gentlemen around the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. It's another wonderful Saturday. For some of you, it may be a different day, depending on what continent you are, if you're in Australia or somewhere else. But for us here in Canada, it is a beautiful, beautiful Saturday, even though it's a bit raining outside, but we can control that part, right? We can only control the things we can control. But we are alive and breathing, and welcome to another edition of our podcast here with our panelists. It's almost a full house today. And then we have a very special guest as well that will be joining us. And today we'll be talking about elections in the Liberian community in London, Ontario. I didn't say London, England, just so you know. But many of here can be accusing when we say London. We have a London in Canada too. So we're talking about London, Ontario. As you know, maybe before I even jump into it, I will get started with some introductions so you guys know who we have in today. If you see, I'm sporting my Smart Cookie t-shirt. In Canada, those of you that are here, you can buy Smart Cookies from, if you're in the Hamilton area, there's a Tim Hortons in Binbrook. They're raising funds for Empowerment Squared, which I am the CEO of. Every dollar, every penny raised will be going to the organization 100%. Just to give you an idea, last year they raised over $30,000 through cookies that were purchased. So if you're a cookies person, buy as many cookies as possible. It's going for only 5 days this week. So buy as many cookies as you can buy. The money will go to a good cause. Some of you have seen the beautiful Liberian Learning Center in Liberia, plus some of our programs we run in Canada. One important one is May 24th this year. We're having a big gala. Actually, Marty Lou has purchased the tickets. All of you guys need to buy your tickets. We will be offering 2 scholarships to 2 young people in our community. Multi-year scholarships for up to 4 years, between $5,000 and $10,000 annually for the 4-year period to help complete the university education. So if you buy cookies, if you donate, those are some of the places your money go. But let me get to our show. My name is Leo Johnson. I'm your host today, Leo Nupolu Johnson, or Leo Lipele Nupolu Johnson, if you want the full name. We'll go around and see who we have in studio today present, and then who we have virtually with us. So why don't we start with those in studio with our panelists here? I will start with Marty Lou, since she's the only female panelist in studio here today.
Yeah, hello everybody. It's nice to be in studio again. I haven't been here in a while. I'm glad to be back. I'm Marty Lou Foley. And like Uncle Leo said, I'm the only lady here. So I'm excited to hear the male opinion, and you guys are going to get a female version of that.
Well, thank you, Marty. Thank you for coming today. And we also have Lemuel here with us also. We hear you, Lemuel. Introduce yourself, please.
Good evening. My name is Lemuel. I'm excited to be here today.
Can we get our mic up a little bit?
Yeah.
Just in case the
2, right?
Super. Can you speak ahead?
Good evening. My name is Lemuel Johnson. I'm excited to be here today.
Okay. We'll keep working on it. So thank you, Lemuel. We'll go to Francis here as well.
My name is Francis.
Let me come a little closer when you're speaking, just so we can hear you. Go ahead, Francis.
My name is Francis Mobile. I'm excited to be here. Talk about important issues, and I can't wait to let's dive in. Let's go.
Let's dive in.
Now, if you just joining and watching online, we appeal to you. Please share the live, post it in all the groups that you're in. We would love to have more and more people join us, as this is a very, I don't know about you, but in my humble opinion, this is a very, 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 very important topic. The well-being of our community. And, every time we hear all the noise everywhere, noise, what's going on? And most of the time it turns out into fights and stuff. So thank God we can sit in a very civil way and discuss it. But more importantly, we can hear from young people, because most of the time those are the voices that are missing from the entire conversation.
Okay.
So I promise you if they didn't care about this community, they would not be talking about it. If they were not interested in seeing what they can do to make it better, they would not be talking about it. So we will go online. We have our guest online with us, Mistress Alice Johnson Hina from London. She's no stranger to the Liberian community in Canada. And just so you know, in our Liberian community, when you hear people say Auntie Alice, it doesn't mean like in the biological sense of it, but in our community, our elders, especially females, are aunties, and the males are uncles to all of our children in our community. So don't say, oh, the children went brought their auntie to come talk to their auntie, right? Yeah, no, it's a cultural thing. That's how we refer to elders in our community, uncle, auntie. So I just wanted to put that out there so we're clear for those of you who may not know that. But let's go to our guest online, Mrs. Alice Johnson Hina, someone who I've known for more than half of my entire life, from the Buduburam refugee camp all the way to Canada. So we'll go to our guest online and let her introduce herself as well.
Well, thank you. Like you regularly said, my name is Alice Johnson Hina, and I'm a member of the Liberian community here in London, Ontario. And I was one of those who was running for the presidency of our community. And you will get to hear later why I withdrew.
All right, so there you go. She was one of the candidates running and withdrew from the elections. By the way, just so you know, the elections went ahead today. I think if people are not,
It's still going. It's still going on. The poll closes at 8 o'clock. I think.
so we are actually right on
Right on
time.
time, yeah.
The polls are actually going on. This is like what? This is what CBC, CNN style kind of stuff.
Right.
While the polls are literally going on, we are about to start giving the analysis. And by the way, those anybody who wants to call in, if you're watching and you want to call into the show, you want to make a contribution, let us know.
Yeah.
I will find a way to bring you on. And full disclosure, we did send a message. I sent a message to Charles Wright, who is the other candidate also that's running to be president, asking him if he wanted to join us. I also sent a message to Patrick Savvy, who is one of the candidates to be, but the lone candidate. So right now, Charles Wright is the only candidate for president. Patrick Savvy is the only candidate for vice president. I did send messages to both of them, asking them also if they wanted to join, just to be fair. And our invitation is open-ended. Even if they can join today, because sometimes people's schedules don't add up, we can bring them on next week or any other time that they wish. In fact, we change our show time today just to accommodate schedules. I also sent a message out to Francis Dadzi, who was the vice president also that withdrew his candidacy and was running with Sis Alex as a result of this. So I also invited him. He could not make it today, but we will endeavor, like I said, to bring anyone that's willing to come on and want to tell their story. Absolutely, we would be happy to bring them on.
Absolutely.
But let's dive right into it. One of our panelists might join us, Khadija Folde. She hasn't joined yet. Hopefully she can join us at some point within the show. But let's dive right into it. I will give you analysis of what we know. Again, it may be wrong, it may be right. I'm open to corrections. I don't live in London. I live in Hamilton. But as the former president of the Liberian Association of Canada, I have an interest in what happens there. I also happen to be one of the people that have supported that community over the years in many different ways. So I have a stake there. And like we should do with every Liberian community.
Right.
So let's start. Before I say anything, since Alice is here, let Alice give us her version of what's obtaining in London. When did this election business start? How did we get here? We were told the elections were supposed to happen, I think, a month ago or so. The date was changed. Why was it changed? And why did you withdraw your candidacy? I think it'll be great to listen to you provide that. Then our panelists can have the opportunity to start to engage you directly. So let's give you the next, I would say 5 to 10 minutes or whatever that is, to really bring us up to speed. What's obtaining in London from your perspective as a candidate who was contesting and decided to withdraw?
Okay, thank you. Our election was supposed to be held sometime last year, but the election commission put up his guidelines and put up the election applications should be people should apply, and no one did. And so the deadline lapsed, and the election commission assumed that they didn't have anyone for the position, so that was closed. I was in school by then. I was doing my nursing, and after my graduation, just before my graduation, the current president had said that she was resigning with or without election. So after my graduation, I reached out to her. I said, Madam President, it would not be unique for you to just resign without us honoring you for serving our community. So I want to step up. And in that way, we can get back to our constitution and have a special election. So we went to meeting. We invited the election commissioner, and he came for our meeting. And he unilaterally said that he put up the election and no one applied. So he's not going to conduct any election in 2004 because our constitution says May is election. So we all agree and waited for this May 2025.
So just to
So
correct you,
by
you said 2004. You meant 2024. Just to be clear.
oh sorry 2024, which was last year.
Yeah.
So then we waited for 2025, and yeah, by February, election guidelines went up, and we were supposed to apply, whoever wanted to apply, and the deadline was March 31st. I did apply. Before I apply, I called one of my sisters because I called everyone. I'm running, guys. I'm running. I need your help. I even reached out to the present candidate now that is running as president. He was the general secretary for the current president, and I reached out to him. Well, so we applied, and when we apply, they were supposed to tell us by April 3rd who the applicants were, and by April 3rd, campaign was supposed to be open. So we waited all April 3rd. I wrote on the page. In fact, my vice president wrote on the page and said, is the election commissioner not going to announce who the candidates are? So then we received a message on the page to say, okay, we are having a meeting tomorrow and everyone should please hold their peace, will be there. So we went for the meeting. When we got there, the election commissioner came up and said, we have two candidates for presidency, no candidate for vice president, no candidate for secretary, no candidate for financial secretary, and one candidate for treasurer. So I'm not running the election. I was like, what? He said, yes, so I'm not running the election. In fact, I'm resigning from the post as election commissioner. So I asked the election commissioner, I said, why will you not run the election if you have two candidates for presidency, one for, he didn't even mention vice president because I know that Francis Darcy actually applied and paid his money for vice presidency, but he did not call his name. So Francis was on the meeting and said, why didn't I hear my name? I did apply and I paid my money. And the election commission came up to say, oh, yes, you applied, but you didn't pay your complete money. It was supposed to be 200 and you pay 150. So it was not enough to not call someone's name to say, yes, you did apply. And yet you are telling us that people did not apply for positions, so you're not going to run the election. I was quick to remind him because he's from Hamilton, Niagara. I said, when you hire your election, you didn't have all the positions applied for, and the election went on. Why is it that you are conducting London election, you are saying you will not carry on the election because you didn't have everyone applying for all the positions? He got really furious that day, and he said he was resigning. But you know, in the eye of in the time of the blind, one-eyed man is the king. Everybody started backing him. Oh, please stay on as our election commissioner. Please, please, please. He came back on and said, if you are asking me to stay on, then I will need you to give me an extension of 2 weeks. Election commission is asking us for extension so that people can apply. It didn't go down well with me, but I'm single. So we all said, okay. This was on April 5th. So April 5th meeting is when he asked for the extension of 2 weeks. So we are expecting that by April 21st, it's the 2 weeks, then we can hear his announcement and who the candidates are, and campaign can start. Behind the scenes, they've been calling people, vote against it. Even my vice president was called into meeting to vote against me, to run against me, and he refused. So on the 18th of April, By 10:18 at night, Election Commission, boom, announcement was up. By 11:08, boom, the president candidate now that is running his election campaign thing was up. I'm like, wait a minute. He asked for 2 weeks. It's just 8 days. So we carry on. Then we brace ourselves to get into the campaign and everything. So we started. But when we started noticing it was no fairness. People, and keep in mind that this election, the Secretary General is running for presidency. The Financial Secretary is running for vice presidency. The Treasurer is running again. And we just have one more person who is like outsider and us running for positions. So they occupy that position and they have all the power we didn't have. So campaign was going on. People were registering.
Let me clarify before you go. Are you saying that they have full access? Did they not recuse themselves from their position? So they have, for example, the Secretary General still have access to all of the organization records. Financial secretaries, they have access to all of the organization financial records and finances. Why they were running at the same time?
Everything as of the day that they put their election, they put their campaign flyers, everything they had it as of that day. And up to today, we did not see letter. All we saw on our page is thank you, I serve you, and now we can say we are leaving now. We did not see letter to say, okay, this is their original letter that they wrote that they have recused themselves.
Okay, thank you.
We did not see that.
Yeah, I just thought that was an important point. Go ahead.
Yeah, so they did not recuse themselves. We just saw, I can write on the page, say, okay, I was this person, but I'm not the person anymore. And we move on the page. It's just a platform. But we did not see an original letter. So, and the general secretary was still in charge of our platform, adding people to the page. When he registered people, he added them to the page. So we raised a concern. Why is he still administrator of this page?
So was he still in charge of even registering people at the same time?
Yes.
Okay.
So
go ahead.
Why is he still in charge of this page? And the president said, no, he's not there again. Someone screenshot the thing and show it that he's still administrator. Then they remove him. So there was a lot of lapses. Like, I can sit here to explain everything, but gradually, if you ask me, as we go back and explain it. But
yeah, no, there will be questions. There will be time for questions.
Yeah.
So other things that you may have missed or don't remember, maybe doing the question. I just want everybody to be brought up to speed based on your account of what's happening.
Yes.
Again, to be clear, this is Mrs. Alice Johnson Hina's account of what is going on in London. So others who are from London or other leaders or whatever who might be interested in wanting to come on the show to provide their analysis, agree or disagree, we are happy to welcome all opinions here, and our panelists will do it justice. But let me just ask one question. In London, you can pay your community leader their salary?
No.
I just asking because sometimes it can make me wonder that the volunteer job that we're supposed to all be doing for the community, when it gets this complicated and convoluted. And those of you that are watching, before I go to the panelists, Patricia Amma from Kitchener, you're watching, welcome. Rotary Robertson, D. Boylan, you're watching, welcome. And a bunch of other people that are watching here, say hello so we know that you're here, so we can recognize you. Those Jefferson Kuko, you're watching as well, welcome. Those of you that are watching, say hi. If you got questions, post it in the comment. We'll read the questions. If you want to call in, let me know. We will also provide that. But let me just start with our panelists. Who wants to go right away?
I can go.
Marty is waiting to go. She couldn't wait. Since she the only female in fact, we'll give her the opportunity. Marty, take it away. You heard the full story.
Yeah.
Take your questions away.
I first want to say congratulations to Ete Alice for even having the confidence and the courage to step up to want to lead the community. It's not an easy job to, especially with you saying that you just left nursing school and all that. It's not something easy that for you to just want to do that. So first, I want to give you your flowers right now for even wanting to do that. Of course, my one key issues and one thing that I kept asking myself over and over while you were talking is, let me ask a question first and then maybe you'll clarify for me. The election commission, why is there only one person on the election commission? Why is it one person that have that one power to say, when election is gonna be and who is gonna run and all those stuff? Why is that only one? Is that a London thing? Is that something every community is doing?
No,
I'm really curious about that.
no. So the election commission, he is the head of the elections. So he
Okay.
has with him two people. So
Okay.
One of them left and went to school. He's in Calgary. So the two left is the election commissioner and one of the newly member of LICA, but he lives with the election commission, so they live together.
Oh, hold on. So the two people on the election commission live in the same house?
Yes.
Okay, I'll stop there. I'll go ahead, Marty Lulu, your question.
Okay, so first, that clarified things, for me. The whole situation, absolutely, like, this is last time, our first podcast, this is what we're talking about. This is a reason why our community, our people, we don't move forward with anything because we don't trust each other enough to build our relationship. We don't have relationship with each other for us to even move forward. So I don't even know how to put my questions together because it's
analysis.
it's so much. Yeah, okay. So overall, this is a complete messed up situation. One person or a few people should not have the right to tell somebody, you're not, like, from what I'm seeing, from what I'm hearing, what they're basically saying to her, we're not directly saying, is that we don't think you're qualified enough to lead our community. And it's messed up because she's the only one that stepped up to say, I want to do this. I want to lead the community because we don't have nobody else to do it. So why would they, want to stop her and put the idea of, like, she possibly, or like, she's not qualified enough to do it when she's the only one stepping up? It's completely messed up. And I feel like that's something you guys have to discuss in your board, is to, first off, have more people on the election commission to discuss these things. It should not be led with one person or two people living in the same house, because then they're going to share one idea and it's going to be very biased. So that's something you guys need to work on in your community, for sure.
All right, thank you, Marty, for giving your first. We'll go around.
Yeah.
As questions are coming up. Alice, any response to Marty Lou before we go to the next panelist here?
Well, not much to say, and it's just simply what has happened. So maybe the election commission will be taking some decisions, and what can the other members say?
Okay.
I don't know. It's
All
a
right.
question for all of us.
Yeah, no, thank you. Okay, we'll move on here. And Francis is raring to go. I said he got to his microphone a few times.
Yeah.
So we'll leave Lemuel to go the first round last. But Francis, you can go.
Yeah, so I have a good amount of questions, but it kind of adds on to Marty's point about only one person running. How did it get to that point in the first place? Because if the community was strong, if the community was vibrant, then there'd be multiple candidates. It'd be more candidates, right? So I feel we have to address the root causes and talk about the root problems of why only one person is running.
Yeah.
Before we even go to the
other issues,
and stuff, like.
Yeah. So it's an interesting thing, by the way, in the Liberian community.
Mm-hmm.
People talk and criticize. I'm talking about across the board. As someone who've had the unique opportunity of sitting as a national president, where I had to deal with all of the local communities, people criticize a lot.
Yeah.
When the opportunity comes for people to step up, it's like everybody's waiting for who to go to criticize. So nobody steps up. It's not even in Hamilton. During our elections, it was a white ballot. One candidate. No, but everybody loves to sit on the sideline and criticize, but time to run it down. But here's what they do. When one person steps up, and if people don't like that person for whatever reason, everybody gang up to make it impossible. Even though, like we're hearing, this is not a unique thing to London. The same thing happening in Hamilton. We had a massive, as a result of that right now in our community, there are all kinds of, right in Hamilton, noise going on between people who like who doesn't like who, and all that kind of stuff. So that's the reason why, for me, I felt it was important to come here and to see. But I think the question I would like to dwell on, I'm following up on you. What do we think about the election commission saying he will not run the election because only one candidate? And then end up running the election when there's only one candidate still, right? Yeah. But Francis, go ahead, and this is Alice can respond to you. I just wanted to address the point that you were raising.
And also, I don't know if you know the stat, but like I just want to know like how much like Liberian people roughly are in London, and like to what extent do they like what like political powers do they have really? I'm just curious.
So you mean the overall community in general?
In London, like roughly.
I don't know if that's an accurate number, but I would say probably. Go ahead, Alice. Go ahead.
Well, in London, as it stands, we are a little over. I can say maybe 200 because we
So
have
close to
two
200.
different Liberian groups here.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Go ahead. You still want to say something?
And the second, to what extent do the leader like are the leaders just there to like to what extent like are they talking with are they talking with like the government? Like what is the president's?
Oh, so you're saying does the Liberian community have any type of engagement, leverage with the let's say the mayor or the city in terms of the bigger politics that's happening? Is the Liberian community actively engaged at the political level?
Yeah,
that's the question you're asking.
Yeah.
So since Alice, I think Francis is just trying to find out: is the Liberian community really actively engaged with the leadership of the city, with the the power brokers in the city? Yeah. Go ahead.
Somewhat, because when we had our independence celebration a year, 2 years ago, we actually had the city mayor coming to speak on our program. So we have somewhat. Yes,
So
it's not.
the question, my follow-up question would be: has the community then benefited anything from all the opportunities within the broader community at the city hall or whatever that is?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. That's the answer to your question, Francis. So let's go to Lemuel for his first set of questions, and then I will have a few questions for you. So Lemuel, go ahead.
Well, I think like the main question to ask is why is there
You
only?
gotta try to speak a bit louder because your mic is loud.
Go closer.
I think there's like really only one. Like the main question to ask is, why is there only one candidate running, and why aren't other people stepping up? As an like, if I was the election commissioner, like kind of disappointing that only one person is running. So I understand why they wouldn't want to run it, but then if you do it one time, you have to do it again. This other person, you can't hold an election for one person.
Yep.
And then say you don't want to hold. Like I understand why you wouldn't want to hold it. Then again, if you already did it, you can't like not do it after.
Okay, so I guess the point Lemuel's making is if the first time you cancel the election because you said go ahead.
I'm answering your question. So
go
the
ahead.
question is because the election commission came up and said I cannot run London election because I have just few candidates applying, so I cannot run this election. So why is he running it now when it's just one person per position?
Okay.
So to answer your question, Lemuel, when the election commission said that he's going by the guideline, we cannot have election in 2024. Election has to be here in 2025, and he's going by the book. And we respected that. We sent our application, we sent our money, and everything was done before the 31st. Keep in mind, he said his deadline for application and payment was the 31st of March. And we did that. Me and my vice president, we did that. But the election commission came back and said because he didn't have enough people, so they should give him 2 weeks. It's not us asking him. It's he asking us. So when they finally got people who can run against me and my vice president, then they put up their electoral stuff and say campaign open. People can campaign now. But when my team noticed that things were not fair, we actually wrote the election commission and said, look, we want you to do a piece of request we are asking you. First of all, we want to see the email screenshot of the applicants that apply. We want to see their payment. It's just a screenshot we want to see. Because if you have me paying my money before the 31st, I want to know if the other people pay before the 31st. But the election commission wrote us back and said it was sensitive information that he cannot release to us.
What?
Okay. I'll stop there. First, I know you wanted to go. You want to say something quick maybe before I jump back in.
So I was going to make sure I'm getting this right. So the commissioner didn't have the election in 2024 because there's not enough candidates,
Because
correct?
only one candidate running.
But this year they're doing that.
They're doing that now.
No, 2024, nobody applied.
Oh, so 2024 there was no application.
Okay.
Because I was in school, I didn't want to apply because I was busy.
But in 2025,
2025, the election reopened because, in fact, when I left school in 2024, we wanted to have a special election. That's why I told you from the beginning. The commissioner said no, he cannot perform any special election. He's going by the Constitution. And I respected him for that. But in the middle of going by the Constitution, you now come when March 31st is the deadline, and everyone who apply after this time, they are in the community, they are member of the community, they knew the deadline, they knew the election commissions had already put up that the deadline is March 31st, but they did not apply. But the election commission comes out to ask for 2 weeks.
yeah.
So going against all the Constitution that he said he was following.
So the question is then that the first time he said he can't run it because there were not enough. There were one candidate that applied for president, one candidate for the other positions. So he said he can't run it with only one candidate. So now other candidates applied, and then this issue came up, and one of the candidates withdrawing because they said for the refusal to address the concerns that it brought. So you're left with the same situation again, one candidate's issue. But now he's comfortable going ahead. I guess that's the point that was being raised. But any other thing you want to say?
Yeah, so this kind of connects to my previous point, like what I'm trying to get at. So, like, I asked, like, what type of, like, political power does the, like, president have? How much influence over people do they have? And I'm asking, like the sequence of events. What I'm trying to get at is, like, if this were to be a corruption situation, what are they corrupting and what are they gonna gain from corrupting?
So the point she raised, I think she said was they file a complaint number one.
Mm-hmm.
They are protesting the fact that they believe the candidates running did not register on time based on the guideline provided.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, there were new people brought in to vote who did not meet the qualification requirement of the elections guideline.
Mm-hmm.
So they wrote the election commission and said, we're protesting these, and listed the names, by the way, of all the people that they're protesting.
Mm-hmm.
And the election commission wrote back and said, yes, we reviewed the documents and these people are good to go. And then they said, okay, can you please just send us evidence of that? Because as a candidate, you're entitled to that. That's not even, forget candidate, as a member, that's information everybody is entitled to. In fact, some communities post the list every month of the people who have paid their dues and are in good standing. Now the election commission refused. He said the information is too sensitive. He cannot release it.
That's ridiculous.
So,
Okay.
so I will give
So Martin, go ahead. Go ahead, Sis Alice, and then Martin can come in.
I'll give you one reason why he actually refused. He said that when we wrote him and said, can you provide a screenshot of the payments that the people made? And we are also noticing that there are people here that just registered. Can we see like their membership form? When were they registered in this organization? Because we have never seen them for the longest, the 5 years we've been operating here. So when he wrote and said to us that he's done his investigation, he has asked the president, they've given every information, and yes, these people are okay to go, everyone is okay to go. So that letter, my vice president sent it to another person and it was posted on our page. But the election commissioner said, according to him, that this letter to him, it was a sensitive letter that we're not supposed to share it. That was the trouble that we took.
Oh, so the election commission also saying his letter was sensitive. It should not have been shared with the members.
Why did we post that letter on the page? So
and that was on the page of members, right?
He cannot even give us any more information. If we had a problem, listen to this. If we had a problem, we should wait, go for election. If we didn't win the election, then we bring out our grievances.
Yeah, and so this is interesting, by the way. The election commissioner, I'm coming to you, Martin. Our own brother, Kekula Domba. So I hope he's listening. Or those of you who know him, we're open to Kekula Domba coming on the show as well. So maybe providing his side of the story. I know the president, outgoing president of London is Masiako Sherif also. Those of you who know Masiako Sherif, again, I will reach out to her. I hadn't reached out to her because I was focused on the candidate, but it would be good also to reach out to the outgoing president. And anyone, by the way, even Charles, who's running, Anybody is open to come on this platform. My brother Kakula Doma, the Election Commission, Masiako Sharif, who's the outgoing president. This platform is open. We're not restricting it to anyone to hear all sides. So, Marty, go ahead. I know you're waiting.
Yeah. I mean, this is, of course, bottom line corruption.
You want to come a little closer to the mic to say it?
This is bottom line corruption in any way you put it. This is ridiculous. My other thing is the outgoing president. I don't know who you said she was.
Masiako Sharif.
Yeah. At this time, was she still in office, or what power did she had, and was she able to come in to say this is ridiculous, or what the election commission is doing is just absolutely? Because why do the election commission have so much power that even the president in thing cannot even step in to say this is ridiculous?
That's a great question, Alice. It's to you. Martin was trying to figure out how come the presidents could not bring things under control, because she feels the election commission decisions are ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
So please,
I
give
don't
us
know.
your
I would have been really happy if the president was on here to defend herself. But me personally, I already figured out that the president was not acting even in my own interest.
Okay.
And I can give you an example. When the general secretary, who is now the candidate that is running today, I got proof that he took membership form to people, and they filled it up. They became members. And
So wait. So the candidate running, who is also the current general secretary, was the one going around taking membership
he
forms.
was
That's
in charge
ridiculous.
of all the membership forms, and people got registered from him. So and they added them to the page. When I went to my president and told her I needed 10 forms, because me too, I have to get out to other members that cannot get to you. The president looked at me and says, Alice, I cannot give you one form because I will not give our membership form to a third party. So I'm the third party.
Oh, so okay. So apparently,
I'm the third party. If anybody want form, tell them to call me, the president, and I will give the form to them. But as of now, as a president, I will not give you one form to take to anybody.
I thought the form was just supposed to be scattered everywhere. Anybody who wants it, who doesn't want it?
Membership form, but no.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So
the
president said, I will not give you that form. I will not give it to a third party. You are a third party.
Yeah. So
A
again,
membership form.
yeah, Marty, any follow up from you?
Are these forms membership forms? These forms are for people that want to
join
the
I want to
association.
join the association.
Okay.
It's a Liberian community. Whenever elections are coming, people who've been living in the community for 20 years and decide that the community is not good enough for them. As soon as elections are coming, everybody wants to come join. So especially if somebody is running who they don't like for whatever reason. So that was the reason why I complained when but go
and I want to understand, because this is a lot for me to wrap my fingers around. With us being youth, we don't really get to experience or even hear these kind of things on a regular. So
thank God for the show.
I know, thank God for the show. So I want to understand, how long have you been a part of the community, it's Alice?
I have been a part of this Liberian community for the last 20 years. So our first community.
Before you go too far, have you been an active due paying member?
Very active. Not just me, but my children. I pay for them.
Okay.
So there you have it. Again, ladies and gentlemen, you're joining us. For those of you who just joining us, hello, welcome. Post your questions, post your comments. We will read them at some point. But this is the issue we are having in London. Based on Alice's account of what is going on and based on some of the things we've heard, again, like we said, this platform will be open to everyone who wants to chime into the situation. I think this is the best way to address issues in our community, to allow people the opportunity to know what is going on. In my opinion, it's a ridiculous decision to not run an election because you say only one candidate apply. That is actually none of your business as an election commission. Your job is to administer the election. Only one candidate apply. In normal democratic practices, it's a white ballot because everybody had the same opportunity to apply and they choose not to, but one person step up, that means you have a candidate if one person step up. And that candidate should be given according to the same rights. That's number one. In my opinion, that's ridiculous to not go ahead. But number two, the inconsistency that let me raise, that you decided to not go ahead in this case. Now you end up with the same situation where you choose to go ahead. We haven't heard from you. Any thoughts so far based on what you've heard? Any questions, any thoughts from you?
Was it the Secretary General that sent the letter that wasn't supposed to be posted in the group?
No, it was the Elections Commission that responded to the complaint, because the complaint went to the Election Commission. The Election Commission responded to the group and said the documents they're requesting were too sensitive to be shared. So her vice president then posted it into the group, and then the Election Commission got angry and said that letter was sensitive and not supposed to be shared with the community.
What if the letter was so sensitive? Why was it shared with anyone in the first place? You shouldn't have answered the question.
Again, that's a good question. So if it was that sensitive, because you wouldn't be sharing sensitive. Or besides, if you have to share with anybody, you would have underscored that this information, the sensitive information, to not be shared. But the baffling part is, why were a response to a complaint to say we would do this or that, do this, be sensitive in the first place?
Yeah.
Because it's a response to an official complaint that was shared.
They're called. Also said how the vice president that was running at first only put in $150 instead of $200. Isn't that the same thing as letting people know how, if these people paid or not? You just let everybody know how much.
That's why, for instance, that's why Alice is asking if the vice president were registering and paid less than the amount. Wasn't it your job to just let everybody know that the vice president registered to run but didn't pay the amount that was required, or even respond to him and say, we received your application, but just so you know, hasn't met the qualification because the amount that you're supposed to pay is not correct. But for you to not respond to him, for you to not let anybody know that you received an application with payment that was made and omit the name and say nothing, again, raises a whole lot of questions to be answered. So for those of you who are watching as we speak, the elections are ongoing right now in London with one candidate, a white ballot, just so you know. I think all of the positions are all white ballot. There's not one position that has more than one candidate on it. So it is interesting, but it's good for us to know, as we've heard, things are going on as we speak. Again, Sis Alice, let me come to you before I go to the second segment here. People make this community thing to look like it's something that people want to do because they get something. And let me say it this way. Some of us have been leaders in the community regardless of a position or not. We put ourselves out there all the time to do stuff. For you personally, were you running because you were so desperate to be president? Were you running because you were interested to be? Well, like, what's your motivation for running? And you not participating in this election, do you see it as a huge disappointment? Are you hurt? Are you angered by it, or whatever that is? It'll be good to hear. We want to hear some of your personal motivations and thoughts about everything that's happening.
Thank you for your question. Like I said to you, our community was literally going down the drain when the current president said, I'm resigning, I've written my resignation letter. But keep in mind, we had our vice president, we have this general secretary that is running now, we had the financial secretary that is running as vice president, we had all these people in position. When the president said she was resigning, nobody stepped up. I called the president and said, please, Madam President, do not resign. Do not leave our community like this. I was in school, now I'm out. Even though it's a lot for me, but I want to step up. I even asked her, do I have your support? She said, yes, 100%. And just to take you back to it, that when I even got in the race to run, the way I saw the president behaving now, it was like, this is not the same. Even we go for some meeting, it's different. So when she actually stopped me from getting the membership form and listen, the vice president for my opposition now, when they started the campaign, he came on the page. Gosh, I got all the statement here. We will not let greedy people, and liquor is not for sale, and we're going to do all kinds of statements, and it was all geared towards me.
We're coming to LAC. We're coming to LAC for the second segment. So leave LAC on. LAC is the second segment of the show.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So in the Liberian community, I can tell you folks for real, like for fact, that sometimes what they do in the community is not because they don't know that you are able to deliver, or you are able to take care of the community, or you are able to take this community to a higher height. What they do is fear that end up to hatred for you. Then they start to find all the connections. Oh, she's connected to this person. She connected to that person. When she became president, and would not. Oh my God! It
Oh, by
was
the
a
way,
lot.
since you want to say, I heard a G, somebody called me, they said the people say Alice become president for London and Leo, and then I want Leo coming to control their community.
But
So let me
that's
say it.
that's exactly
That's
what they
ridiculous.
said. When Alex became president, it's Leo Johnson. It's Frances Hina.
Uh,
But it's
oh,
not Alex as a
so,
person what she can deliver for the community.
so you are supposed to disassociate yourself with your husband because you want to be
With my
president. Look at
husband,
that.
with anybody.
Okay. So, but by the way, what did Leo do to the people down there? They worry that Leo can control their community. What did Leo do to them?
Thank you.
But let me just ask one more question, then I'll turn to you guys this
question.
segment for any question before we go on the second segment here. One thing you said was very interesting to me. You said that people got together and went to your vice presidential candidate, so the person who agreed to run with you as vice president, to try and manipulate him to run against you.
Yes.
This is beginning to sound like it's something more personal than it is about just debate of ideas. I really wish we were sitting here hearing you guys debate your ideas about what you have to do for the community, compared to debating allegations of fraud, allegations of corruption, allegations of people wanting to manipulate the process. Do you know who were those that went to your vice president to try and manipulate him to run against you?
I'm going to be very happy tonight if my vice president was on this call.
He responded and said he could not make it, so I'm hoping we can bring him on at some point.
Maybe you're bringing back so you hear from the horse's own mouth.
Okay.
Because
all right.
he actually refused to let me know. Like, he did not want to tell me. The only time I got to know was our last Zoom meeting that we had here in London, when he was so pissed when we withdrew. And he said, you guys are doing this because you called me for meeting to run against this Alice. And because I said no, it's all that you are doing here to me.
Okay,
What
so
happened in the midst of it was they were going back and forth, him and Charles, the current candidate now, that is supposed to be president. They were going back and forth on the page. And every time I was not on the page. I was working. I didn't even know what was going on. After work, I came on the page and I saw message deleted, and then finally I saw Francis Darcy removed from the page. So I did not know.
So your vice presidential candidate was removed from the page. Okay.
He was removed from the page by the president.
So the president removed the vice president. Was there any warning? Was there any reason why he was removed directly? Was there any letter, any communication to that effect?
Well, I cannot tell you there was a warning or there was a reason, but all I know is when I saw this, my message is still on the page, even though the last time we were having Zoom and the president said, when I came, I asked her, I said, why did you delete it? Put him back. No, that was not the question I asked at all. My question is still on the page. I asked Madam President, what happened? Why was my vice president removed? I asked 2 times, she did not answer. I took my phone, I called her twice, she did not answer. I texted her and said to her, Madam President, I've called you twice and I'm texting you now. Why was my vice president removed? But if you can't answer, I'm just from work, I will call the vice president because I was not getting him. So finally, I got him. And he says, Alice, I didn't do anything. He normally called her Masiako. I didn't do anything to Masiako. So Masiako is the president, the current president. I said, but what happened? And he sent me the text that he posted on the page. He said, I was writing, Charles and I were going back and forth. But every time I write my communication, Masiako would delete it.
So did she delete Charles on the communication too?
No.
Oh, did she remove Charles also?
That's ridiculous.
No.
Okay.
He said every time I write my communication, my server will delete it. So then he said, I text her, I said, this is not cool. I said, you. Then he said, I texted her and said to her, you insulted me the other day, but I will address you soon. So it's that text that he put on the page that made the president to delete him and remove him from the page.
Okay, we will invite the president. I will send an invitation to her, just out of courtesy and respect, to ask her if she's open to coming to deal with some of this issue. But it baffles me sometimes, guys. The personal hate, personal attack. But something as simple. When I was president for the Liberian Association in Canada, I raised over $300,000, by the way, doing my region cash for the community. When the time was coming for me to leave, everybody was running around telling people Leo wants to manipulate the process so he can remain president. And by the way, I left with over $45,000 in the bank account when I turned over. No, I oversaw the process. Again, I removed myself. My vice president declared he was running. And I told him in his face, personally, I got one vote. I'm not endorsing anyone, not even you. You have to get out there. And I could have. It was my right to. But I realized the way polarized our community is, had I gone to endorse the vice president, all those who let Leo would jump to his side. All those who hate Leo for whatever reason, and would have become a tension-filled election. But since nobody had to fight against Leo, I had my one secret ballot to go cast, whoever I'm going to cast if it was up to me. I removed myself from the process.
Yep.
I oversaw the process peacefully. And till to this day, nobody can say there was one malpractice. Nobody can say there was one issue with the election. The election was conducted peacefully and we elected, and I'm former president. Why can we not do the same in our communities? It baffles people when people behave like this. Well, again, because what this does...
And listen to this. I took my phone and called the president when all these things were going on. I said, Madam President, this was like maybe few days before I was due. I said, Madam President, when I call you and you say you were resigning from this community and told you I want to step up to the plate, you told me I had your 100% support. Do I still have 100% support? And she said to me, Sis Alice, when you asked me, it was only you running. So now that you people are two, I cannot tell you where my vote is going. So whoever wins, I'm giving them 100% support.
Oh, whoever wins, okay,
so
great.
I'm a mature person. If you give that statement to me, then I said, thank you, Madam President. I already know where your vote is. Then I left the call.
Thank you.
But
I see somebody.
That was it.
I see some of the London people on here. Your people's comment. You're in London. You know what going on. You're living there. So let me ask you, Alex, before I go back to my panelists here for the last piece on the session. Knowing everything that has happened, right? I'm sensing thoughts of betrayal from you. I'm sensing thoughts of dishonesty, thoughts of, you believe fraudulent activities, you believe corrupt activities. Do you intend to leave the community, get angry? Because usually what happens with these things, we see it. People walk away. And sometimes I don't blame people for walking away. Do you believe that this was grave enough that you want to walk away from the community because you're upset? Or so we'd like to hear that. We want to get you on the record now. Go ahead.
Leo, one thing I've said, I said it in our Zoom meeting and I will say it here tonight. Whatever Alice, have helped to build, I will never destroy it. I am not leaving London community. Yes, when this thing happened, I actually lodged a complaint, a formal complaint. And why did I do it? It's not because I was interested in running for the election anymore. I did it because I wanted records to be set straight. I did it because in 2 years, it will soon be here. 2 years will soon fly by. And we'll be going back into election. And not because I will be running at that time, no. But so that the way they treated me and my vice president, that will not be repeated. I said it to them in a Zoom meeting, and I said to them, we all will work together. I'm not leaving. I'm right here.
Thank you.
Charles Ray will get to contend with me. Charles Ray will have to work with me.
Thank you.
Charles Ray and I will have to argue situation and disagree to agree. I'm not going.
Thank you. Thank you. I think this was an important question I asked. By the way, Ambassador Aminat Mahmoud said, this is great. Great that we're hearing from her. I'm wondering if you will or have reached out to other candidates to hear their side of the story. So Aminat, on the record, you and I hear from the beginning, yes, we reached out to Charles Wright. I did send him a message asking him if he was open to coming on the show. I haven't heard back yet. There has been no response to that message. I reached out to Francis Dazi also. Francis responded and said he was not available today around the time. I reached out to Patrick Savvy, who's running currently, I think, as the vice president. asking him if he will be open to joining our show. Also, I haven't heard back from him, to be fair. I did not invite the president. I didn't think about it. I was focusing more on the candidates. So we will reach out again. And Aminat, if you have any medium true which you think we can reach out to them directly, please also let us know. We will reach out to them again, and we will be open to anybody coming on the show. Even just a member of London who wants to come on the show and want to participate, please let us know. We will be happy to bring you on. So yes, the platform is open to everybody, including the president herself. But Sis Alice, I want to thank you for your decision to remain committed to the London community. We've seen in this place whenever things don't go people's way, rightfully so sometimes, I would not blame them, they walk away or they too react and it becomes a fight and a confrontation. What ends up happening? The community is destroyed as a result. We've seen it in other places like Kitchener, we've seen it in places like Edmonton, we've seen it in all kinds of communities where these things happen and sometimes people feel helpless, it's not being addressed, and they get angry too. And they fight back. So I want to thank you for the level of maturity that you've demonstrated. That regardless of all of the things that you've listed, you've committed to remain and continue to fight it and continue to debate it and argue it for it to get better. For me, I hope a lot of people can take a page from your book, a lesson from your book, because right now, we know how many breakaway fashions of Liberian communities we have across Canada as a result, in the US and everywhere. So thank you for your commitment to the community that regardless of what happened, you will be there to fight it. And if you disagree, you will be part to air your disagreement until the change that you're seeking for can happen, whether you are president or not. We see our community where people run to come be president. The moment they lose, LAC will be an example. The last LAC election, we had one of the candidates running from Kitchener, our brother Ralph. He lost the election. He came back in less than 6 months. He broke away from the organization, said the organization was trash. It was this, it was that. But 6 months earlier, you were trying to be president for the very organization that was trash. So thank you for remaining committed to what, like you said, what you all have built together in London. Everybody, anybody wants to jump in? Any other question or response to this segment before we go to the last segment? Marty, I think you wanted to go first.
Mm-hmm. No, just to add more to what Uncle Leo said, like, and again, giving you your flowers it takes a lot for a person to go through that much and still want to be a part and be with the people that treated you the way that they treated you. So that's a big congratulations and a big, we appreciate you for that. My one question, just for argument's sake, my one question to you is, you've been part of the community for 20 years. And like you said, even your children are part of the community. Do you think that when you dropped out of the election, it kind of sent a message to the the people that were doing, like the election commissioner, the president, all these people that were turning against you? Like, did you think you sent a message to them that they won because you dropped out, you decided to back up and gave them the opportunity to go ahead with the corruption, or no offense to nobody, by the way. Yeah. So do you think you let them win? And if you would have stayed in the election, do you think it would have still been held today, or would it have had a different outcome?
I don't think there was going to be much of a difference if I had stayed in the election. And I'll tell you this for a fact, I had a lot of supporters. And the way I knew was when I withdrew from the electoral process, and all of those people that I felt that were supporting me, they gave me call. And people in the Liberian community that know themselves, since I withdrew from this electoral process, I've not gotten call from one person to say, "Oh, Alice, why? What happened?" No, but people were on the page saying all that they wanted to say. But people that were supporting me, I got their calls, and I returned their call. I returned call last night, even as of last night. I called people, I said, please, if you have to go and cash your one vote, because it's just a waste of money anyways. But if you have to go and cash your one vote, please go. Please. I'm begging you. And I still asked the president last night, I still need forms because people still want to join our community. Now that I'm now a third party, can you please give me form so that I can go and bring people?
Third party. Okay. You guys, any question? Marty, anything before I go to other people?
No, that was
Any
perfect.
comments or questions before we close the session?
The first thing that comes to mind is like how passionate you are. I respect that. So like, what are your plans? Like, if you were to, if this didn't happen and you were to win, like, what would you do?
Francis, what are some of the things you would have done if you were to
What have done? What have done?
Some of the things I would have done when you ask the question first, Francis, to say, oh, what is your connection with your local government? What is your connection in London, even with your mayor or the city hall? My first thing I wanted to do was to make that unique connection of liquor so that our presence will be felt here in London. You know what? And I'm not going to stop. Even with Charles Webb being president, I want our presence to be felt here in London. And I'm going to bring that suggestion to him. We're going to be the first group of Liberians here in London that will raise our flag to the city hall. And that I'll carry to Charles Webb. We're going to do that. And Charles Webb should be waiting to work. I will put his feet to the fire.
I'll follow up on Francis' question and push you a little bit more because I mean everybody knows my issue with youth involvement in the community or celebrating our youth engagement. You have been a big issue. Was there any plans in your thoughts about young people when you were running?
I had so much great plans for young people. I wanted the young people in this community, and we'll still bring it forth. I see young people, especially on your platform. They are doing their podcast. They are doing. I wanted young people in our community to be able to interact with young people from Hamilton, young people from Windsor, to just promote themselves so that we can be proud of them. You know what, Leo? I am so proud of where I find myself in London and the children here. Take for example, my daughter Lisa. Lisa was in Hamilton, like I think 3 weeks ago. The robotic thing that they started, Lisa brought home a wall. They can put the robot together. It was my plan to bring the youth here in London together, and we will still do it. I have lots of plans for the youth here in London.
Thank you. So everybody, let me just before we go to the next section, the last section here. Any question, any thoughts, any? This man pretends. You heard that?
No thoughts, bro.
This guy comes here and pretends like he doesn't talk. Just so all of you know, he actually talks. So don't get fooled by all these coolness. I don't know if that's a new word, being hip and being cool.
No, the word's aura nowadays.
What's the word?
Aura.
Aura? Oh, okay. So this whole aura thing or whatever that is, I guess I'm not up to speed. I need to upgrade. I'm behind on this thing. I thought I was young, but I'm old.
Yeah, no, he's trying hard to be cool.
He and I went on a workout together, I think 2 days ago, so Thursday. See him. He's telling people like I almost fainted or whatever. Bro, I'm 3 times your age and I kept up with you until we ended and you're talking about almost fainted or whatever.
That's bad.
But that's a different show for that piece. The last segment here, Alice, I wanted to bring out is about LAC, the Liberian Association of Canada. Specifically with the community of London. There has been all kinds of gossips and information shared around, which I believe many of them were misleading and false. I will give the premise and then I will let you speak to this. And I know that came up also against you, that you people wanted to sell your community to LAC. First of all, how do you sell your community to the National Association? I don't know how. And what I also have a problem with is London put their hand up to host the convention this year, the LAC National Convention, right? And then you leave that convention and come and go to your community and tell people that the organization is bad, they're ill-treating you, they're not treating you well. Why did you put your hand up to host the convention in the first place? Why didn't you raise it on the convention floor while everybody was present? And this stems from a grant. The reason I'm talking about it because I've been involved, called the Resilient Grant. About $90,000, which I secured when I was president for youth activities in the country. And what was supposed to happen was that every city in Ontario was supposed to organize youth activities that we were going to pay for through the grant. Some of the things we should have gotten, a 360 Diamond 360 photo booth for young people whenever they're doing their events. We purchased one. About $7,000 for the entire set. So that whenever our young people are having events or activities, they'll have their own that we own. Laptops for each community. We purchased about 10 brand new laptops that were supposed to be given to each community. All of this was approved in the grant. Each city had allocated, the grant had allocated about $5,000 per city for youth activities. This grant was given to the National Association. After time, the president said, why are we the one implementing it? Why can we not trust the local leaders to implement it? They didn't want us coming into the communities. So we said, great. So we went into the grant because when you get this grant, you sign a contract. that say you're responsible for executing these things. If you don't, you are responsible. So we said to the local community, since you guys want us to change these things and let you guys implement it and not us, we think that's okay. I was president at the time. We will write you a contract that says the money you have been given, here's what the money is for. You implement it, you have to submit all of your receipts and all of your report. If you fail to implement it, you will be under obligation to pay the money back to the national organization, because the national organization is under contract to pay it back to the government. The government said, if you don't show proof that these things happen, you must pay it back. A big problem started. All the presidents said they can't sign the contract. Why should Leo be making people to sign legal documents for them to get the grant? I said, okay, what if you get the grant and you don't implement it and you don't give me the receipts? Well, I will go tell the government and say, oh, we gave the money to our local community, but they didn't do it, so we don't have the papers. So they said they will not sign. I said, but a penny of the money will not come to you. By then, other communities decided to sign. Windsor signed. So we released Windsor for payment. We released their laptop and everything. So eventually, some started to sign. But some of them took almost 1 year. arguing back and forth. Eventually, London signed. Now, London had received 2,000 and change, half of the money, and it was remaining another 2,000 and change. I don't remember the exact amount. When the new administration was taking over, I did all my turnover notes, and, informing them the reports, what was what. The new administration wrote the president of London in February of the year they took over, which was February 2024, right? Informing them that we have your money here, but you haven't signed the contract yet. We need you to sign the contract so we can release your money. February, right? No response. The administration reached out to them again, no response. Now, the grant deadline for all the activities to be completed was September of last year. So they wrote them in February, no response. So the LAC had to take a decision to implement the activities, because if they don't, and the grant deadline passes, they'll have to return any money that's left, which means they will be red flagged for future grants. I mean, you're not capable of carrying out the activities if you apply again by your record. So because LAC could not hear back, and I know this because during the transition process I was involved as the outgoing president, the community decided that they will organize the National Youth Convention that the people fought against in Hamilton, that decided they would not participate in, right? To bring all the young people together, because the grant was for those kind of activities. And decided that all those who didn't sign their contract, great, including Hamilton also. Hamilton refused to sign the contract. So LAC decided to put that money towards organizing the National Youth Convention so that at least it can be money spent on youth activities. Guess what? October, the National Youth Convention was held, I think, in August. It was October that London wrote back and said they were not ready to sign the contract so that they can receive their payment, right? So the leadership was like, what are you talking about? Sorry, the time for the grant lapsed. The grant has closed. We've moved on. Then they made it a problem and went to the National Association board and said, blah, 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 blah. Long story short, the board is seized of the matter right now and figuring out what needs to be done. But then the president has come back to her local community saying LAC has refused to give their money. LAC is inciting the local. In fact, I heard it became one of their campaign things. The president saying LAC is nonsense. They will make sure London will leave LAC because of the nonsense and all of that stuff. Now they're blaming Alice because apparently they say Leo, Alice's son, so that Leo seized the money so that Alice fought. They're also blaming Alice because Alice's husband sits on the LAC board also. And now they're saying Alice are one of the people that supporting LAC to seize their money, but she's not explaining that. Say February they emailed you as president, you did not respond to October, but you expected that. And it made me wonder, were they hoping that the money would stay there and LAC would be caught with their pens that will not do nothing and would be forced to get the money back to government so it can look bad on LAC's end? And this is my thoughts, honestly. So, since Alice, why have you here? Let me ask you the question. How has this LAC business played in your community so far? I just wanted to provide the premise for people and then let you go off, and then people can ask you any questions.
It is still playing, and half of what I experienced here in London, like I said to you, personally, if you ask the Londoners, they would not tell you that Alice is a bad person, or we know that Alice cannot manage this community. But like I said from the beginning, because of my connection, and they made it clear. Oh, when Alice became president, she will be influenced by Leo. Alice's husband is on the board, but he doesn't speak for London. But they don't accept the fact that London did not send my husband on the board. He lives in London, but they did not send my husband on the board. London has 2 members of her community on the board. And every meeting we go for, I never hear their name to say, oh, we send Princess Darcy on the board or we send Kuwoo Movement on the board. But every time it's Princess Hina. And for that reason, I'm telling you, the thing has turned to another thing.
So just to be
So
clear,
even for me withdrawing,
just to be clear, before you go there, just to be clear, the Constitution of LAC says, as former president, you automatically join the board. So Francis Hina is he's the founding president of LAC. So he's not representing London. London got 2 representatives on the board, but if that's why Francis Hina not representing London on the board.
Because Francis Hina lives in London, everything about this resilient grant, everything is on Francis Hina. Francis Hina is the reason why they are not getting this grant. Francis Hina is not speaking for LAC. LAC is not seeking London interest. LAC does not consider London. LAC does, oh my God. Everything that LAC has not done for London, it was all playing in my campaign. You understand? So, me as a mature person, and I see everything going together, coupled with you don't have to say something. Your action alone can tell people where you are.
Yep. And this particular narrative is being driven by the president herself. I know this because she and myself have gotten in arguments about this before. Go ahead.
Yeah, the president herself, and I'm telling you in this public manner that the election commissioner is not innocent of it too.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, by the way, the election commission himself has a conflict because he sits on the LAC board as well. As a representative for Hamilton, for the Hamilton community. So anyway, panelists, the LAC issue. Any questions?
You said the LAC board?
Yeah, LAC board, the National Association.
Oh, okay. I was confused.
No, the National Association.
Okay, I understand now.
Any question, any comment?
Okay, just to clarify one thing, you said the election commission, he's a part of the Hamilton community?
Yes, he's a member of the Hamilton community. And he lives in St. Thomas, which is like 30 minutes, 20 minutes from London. So actually he's closer to London. So he used to live in Hamilton.
Okay.
He was on a part of Hamilton community, but he moved to St. Thomas. But for some reason, I don't know constitutionally that is even correct because the Constitution says Hamilton and surrounding.
Yeah.
No, I was saying for Hamilton. No, I was saying Hamilton. It said, I don't know if he's legally still allowed to be a member of Hamilton under the Constitution because St. Thomas is a suburb of London and not a suburb of Hamilton.
So why is he the election commission of London if he's officially a part of the Hamilton community?
I think London Constitution allows them to do that.
He's an affiliate member. I'm yet to see because I was reading the Constitution. It says here as an affiliate member, you should pay $35 per year. Okay. I'm waiting for the financial secretary to tell me that the election commission have paid that.
I mean, you have to wait while I don't give it to you. While I wouldn't say that sensitive documents again. That's what we can say. But I mean, I'm just saying that in and of itself is also problematic, which is why this thing is so convoluted in the way it is convoluted, and which is why people are raising all kinds of suspicions. But any comments, any questions or comments?
So for the election, you're not part of the election? Like you're not part of the voting?
She has withdrawn. She officially withdrawn.
No, I withdrew. Me and my vice president withdrew.
Her vice president also withdrew from the process. I think almost a week ago or so.
And just to make sure, the same president that was president before is still going to be president, or there's new candidates?
She's not running. So there's only one candidate running.
And it's not her.
He is the Secretary General right now.
Okay.
So he's the one running.
So he's guaranteed to win?
There's nobody else. There's only one candidate. So.
She's going to win. Okay.
So the general secretary is the president right now. The financial secretary is the vice president right now.
Yeah.
We still carry on our treasurer.
Yeah.
And
so basically, there's one person for every position. So what they're doing today is just a ceremonial process. Because whether you show up, you not show up, the person wins.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So
whether they were going to go and cast one vote for themselves, they still win. So
even if only them had cast the ballot, They wait.
Yeah, it gets 21.
Let me want to say something. I say hand up. No. Any comment as we wrap up things? Anybody else?
I think it's good, Nora.
Overall, like this whole situation, even with the like community and everything, I mean, even for going back home in our own country, like I said before, this is the reason why a lot of the things that we try to do don't move as fast or don't move forward. And that's the reason why, as old of a country that we are, we're still considered a third world country because we don't do things accordingly. We're the one that make these rules. We're the one that said, okay, this is how we want things to be to go about. So why are we the same ones that are breaking these rules? Because I know for you guys' constitution, somebody somewhere had to come sit down and say, you know, this is what we want it to be. These are the same people, maybe not the same people, but descendant of these people that are now breaking these rules and going against these rules just because of personal issues. And it's absolutely ridiculous. And I think that that's one thing that the London community, especially because a lot of these issues I'm hearing are mostly coming from the London community. So I feel as though that's something that community especially have to work on is you guys have a set of rules. You guys have this constitution for a reason. And that reason is for corruption to not be a part of these things like the elections, the money issues. That's why grown people that we feel as though are mature enough to take over these things are put into office to run the things. So if these grown people are not able to do this, they should give the opportunity to other people to do that. And if you guys can't sit down as grown, mature people to, you know, finalize things like little things like this, it is going to become a big problem, and we're never, ever going to be able to grow as a community, as a people. We come from far away. We're far away from Canada. Liberia is so far away. We settled down here. You know, you would think that we want to be better people, but it's the same issue that we keep bringing with us. So that's something that you guys definitely have to discuss and find a way to break down that issue, because it's going to be a problem in the future for us, the youth that are growing up to one day take over.
And this is a problem with rules. Right? And this is a problem with rules. And that's why many people, when you hear people tell you they got a problem with Leo, like I'm a stickler for it. Even if the rules are bad, if those are the rules, you have to go by it. Mm-hmm. If it's bad, then you have to work to change it. Because if all of us just decide that we would change whatever, if the rules are bad, then change it, advocate. That's why I always tell people at the LA convention, because that's where the Constitution gets amended. That's where new ideas can be brought. If you don't like something in the LA Constitution that you don't think is functioning well, you have a whole year to prepare. Come to the convention, make your debate, let your peers hear you, and let them vote on it. Imagine if Martin Luther King and all the other people before who wanted change decided that they would just fight and curse everybody and get best. Because, you know, I'm also afraid of the level of marginalization against women in the Liberian community across the board.
Yeah.
Because men have this way that they can confront issues, be vulgar, insulting, or whatever. People tolerate it most of the time when it's coming from men. And because women usually sometimes are not able to go that route, they are often marginalized. And the way we can see it in our communities. Before I became president, there was not a single female I was against it. What I used to do to women, I told people when I became president, we all were having events. No, all the women in the kitchen and the men are sitting and crying their legs. Mm-hmm. If the event starts at 6 o'clock, all of us will show up at 3 o'clock, men and women. You can go bring the chicken from the store. You can wash the chicken. You can help scrub the floor. You can help set up the chair. You can help set up the tables. You can help cook. In fact, some men can cook better than some women. And I insisted. And because of that, when I was president, we got a female president in Montreal. Right? We got a female president, where else? Where was it? In Kitchener. We got a female president somewhere else. I think there were 3 female presidents that got elected under my leadership. And when I was leaving, I ensured that we supported a female vice president as well. In London also, London got a female president under my leadership. I was intentional. There was no speech that I gave that I did not emphasize it. And even in my practice, it was very active, because we need to be careful with the way, because we come from a very paternal society where men tend to be given preference over women a lot of the time, not because they are smarter than women, just because they're men. And we are having the same issue with the rules in Hamilton community here. Let me give you guys an example. The new leadership got elected. It's going to 1 year now, or almost 1 year. We have a constitution. The first thing when they got elected, they said the constitution was bad. It was horrible. It's archaic. It needs to be changed. Sweet. They got elected. The way to change the constitution is written right there. You need 2/3 vote from the community to authorize, changing the constitution or amending the constitution. Up to today's day, they've never brought that vote to the community to vote on it. Right? So just come to tell the community, say we want to amend the constitution. We need a 2/3 vote. It's been 1 year now. We're still waiting. But guess what? They decided also that they will not be abiding by it anymore. So we are the Wild Wild West. The reason I said so, because the Constitution said 3 months after election, a board of directors supposed to be appointed that's supposed to provide check and balance for the leadership. Because you can't just be running with no check and balance. We don't have a board as we speak. That's 1 year. So how have decisions been made? If you don't like what is happening with the leadership, who do you take it to? There's no board, right? The Constitution says our meeting should be held the last Sunday of every month. That being followed, the leadership can get ready. They just call meeting as they wish. We don't have a regular meeting schedule, even though the Constitution lays down one, right? So if there's another thing that they want to talk over, they wrote me, by the way, from the president saying they know that I, Leo, served on the Constitution, was head of the Constitution Committee, and I manipulated the Constitution to suit me, the things that I wanted. Just for us to go by and check, I was never on the Constitution Committee. But because people got issue with Leo, because I've insisted that you must follow the Constitution. Hamilton election was the same thing. We decided to go to election, all the candidates did not qualify because we had abandoned the Constitution for so many years. I made a suggestion, say, guys, suspend the Constitution and host a special election. In a way, you're not violating your own Constitution. But if you can meet the Constitution, you're setting a bad precedent. Then why should anybody else? Then there's no rules. And that's why we're having a problem. So the next show, we'll be talking about the issue of the prison system. We came up there, it was a heated debate before you came, but we'll send the topic.
It wasn't heated. It was
a nice conversation.
Yeah, a conversation.
Let me put it that way. So we will put it out there. We'll frame up the topic. Or who knows? The candidates in London, anybody wants to engage, the new president coming in, we are happy to host you as well. Please let us know. I will let you guys give your closing statements. We'll go around the block. Everybody, the final statements. It can be on anything. It can be on the London situation, whatever situation, anything else that's on your mind that you want to close up with for today. Marty, we started with you. We'll close with you.
Okay. I started with this. I'm gonna also finish with this again. Another big appreciation to Italis. Like, I've never had a conversation with you. This is my first time hearing from you and hearing about you. And, I appreciate you as a woman, of course, like Uncle Leo was saying, to even be able to step up to want to take over and want to lead such a, no offense, in such a violent community, such a violent, corrupted community. No offense, of course, but I appreciate you so much, and you're a motivation now to a lot of young people like myself and a lot of young other girls. I hope they can see you as a motivation to want to step up one day to do the things that you're doing. And also appreciate you for not wanting to step away from the community, for still wanting to be a part of it, despite everything that they've put you through and the unfairness and everything. So I want to close by saying that, and we appreciate you for coming and speaking your truth.
Thank you, Matthew. Let me know, and then Francis.
Well, I just think it's embarrassing as a community that people only want to lead when they see a problem instead of wanting to lead before to prevent the problem from even happening.
Tell us more. You're not going to give us a one-liner aura. What do you call it? Aura?
Or you're showing an aura form right now.
Yeah, you see the aura form right now. You're going to come out of your aura form. You'll tell what the heck does that mean. What are they supposed to do? We're not too cool. We're not cool for your aura. Keep your aura form for another time.
We shouldn't want to lead because we see something that we don't think should be happening. We should want to lead because we want to prevent something that we don't want happening from happening.
All right, thank you. Officially, your name on the show is Mr. Aura. Can you leave your aura form and then we'll talk. But Francis, give us your closing comment.
Yeah, I want to add on to Marty's point. Yeah, thank you for coming in, hearing your side. It's really eye-opening for me because I only really paid attention to the Liberian Association of Canada rather than like London local ones, right? And it sucks what's happening here, and I feel like from what I'm hearing is that we're still divided as a community, and if we're divided, we're never gonna make true change. So I feel like people have to put aside their egos and their differences and come together, because this is not a political party. This is a community, and if we're not connected as a community, that's an issue. That's important to address.
Yeah, well, thank you, and I think that's a key point because, like I said, unless we're arguing and debating ideas, then we are going backward. Yeah. Because we're debating personalities and personal issues rather than ideas. But Sis Alice, want to hear your parting comment before we let you go, and then we'll close the show.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm so proud of you guys, and I would really love to come back here when all other parties are present and not just me alone. It was sad that they could not come on. For my parting statement is London has really been a unique community, not really violent, girl. we have been very unique, and this election process really brought out a lot of hate, and I could just feel it. And you can tell that when things are not going the way it's supposed to go, and when you step aside, the peace of mind, I felt so good stepping aside, and I'm still feeling good, like waiting for inauguration. And I don't know, like I said, they were not supposed to use the money the way they use it today. It was plain and simple. And just to say it's a white ballot, they won. And like in Canada here, they always rules are set and safety measures are taken when something happens. So I want to use my situation as a safety measure for our community, so that the new government coming in, we can also straighten our constitution, so people will not have a lot of argument here. And going forward, if we have an election commission in the future, so that they can know that they are working for us and not
and they can be living in the same house
telling us what to do. So there's a lot of things that we're going to put in place for our next election coming in 2 years, and I'm very optimistic that it's going to happen, and London is going to be great. I heard other community leaders coming and saying, "Oh, make London great again." I felt that it was an insult to my president. I still
that is true. To be mocking the situation
in her esteem, and she did a lot of great job in this community, and I still respect her for that, because when we took over, like we took our community and we had Lika was nowhere, and she came over. I actually, if you would know, that I actually nominated Marciaco and we voted her in, and she became president, and we did not stop. We supported her, and she worked tirelessly to get us where we are. So London has been great. So I see community leaders saying, "Make London great again." Please don't say that to us. We are great already. So we're just going to be better and more greater. So London is not going to get great again. London is already great to you, the community leaders that are writing on the page. We see it and we know it. Please stop. Don't disrespect our president. So with everything I've gone on, like I said to them in the meeting yesterday when we met there, I say, whatever happened, if I said something, I'm human. If I said something to them or whoever that you felt bad, I said to them last night, let bygone be bygone. Let's come together and build our community, and let's work for our community to be the one that will be youth friendly, and we'll have our youth participating in a lot of stuff around here, and we'll be happy together again. It's election season, it's gone, it's past. I'm waiting for the inauguration. If you don't know me, you're the youth. If you don't know me, I'm the dancing queen. So we're gonna be dancing for that inauguration, even though it it ended the way it ended, but we are still happy and we are still hopeful for a greater and bigger London. Thank you so much for inviting me on this platform tonight.
Thank you, Sister Alison. It was great having you. You can leave us now. We'll keep in touch when the other people get back to us. We'll see if we have to bring everybody here all at the same time. We will arrange for that, and we'll continue to reach out to them. So thank you.
Thank you.
In the end, I would say I'm actually happy Sis Alice withdrew, guys, from the elections. You can let Sis Alice go, so we don't hold her.
Okay, let me go.
Yeah, we can let you go. I'm actually happy that she withdrew from the election and still took the road that she took. Because I've had this pet peeve with people in Liberia, even in government positions. They complain all day that they're not being treated well, the country is corrupt, the situation is bad, no resources, but then they say go to the same job every day. Mm-hmm. So it's good to see someone take the stance, say, you know what, I don't trust this process is corrupted, I don't believe in it. I don't think it's going well. So as a result, I will not subject myself to it. But don't do it out of bitterness. Because what we often see when people do it, then they're bitter, they're angry, then they go all out to destroy. And it's easy to destroy any community. It's very easy. All Alice needed to do, call all the people that support her and tell her, say, you're going to disrupt the community. Basically, it's easy to do. These communities are already very fragile the way they are. And the moment somebody starts to behave bad or disrupt it, it's funny, good things don't make a lot of noise. And those bad things are quick, and like Brewing community is crazy. The people who support Alice will jump behind Alice. We will damage it, we'll destroy it. Then the people who don't support Alice, we will fight them too on the other side. And by the time you're finished fighting, there's no community by the time it's all over and said and done. And a lot of people were sitting on the sidelines waiting for the fight. You know those people who can be waiting, let them check out. You'll bring the G's. We'll get it. No G's. Let me break your heart. Alice and Francis Darcy withdrew from the elections because they don't believe and trust the process by their own admittance, but they believe the community. Mm-hmm. So they have said they will commit, they will chastise the process, all the things that went wrong. They will stay there to try and change it and correct it so that the two election commissioners don't live in the same house again. Maybe next time they form the election commission, there will be some lessons learned from this one. Yeah. And 2 years is not a long time. The new president that's coming, I think, is Charles Wright. Congratulations in advance. You got work to do. In fact, the first thing you got to do is show transparency because your electoral process has been called into questions by your fellow people. So you got your tax cut off for you to prove that you deserve to be president and to do what is right by your own people. Yep. And gracefully, I'll say, show grace. Some of the things I've heard you say, I hope you switch from it. Talking about, we will take this or we'll remove this from life, we'll do this. Trust me, you try it, you'll only be undermining your leadership. Show grace. Places where you feel things are not going well, reach out, engage. Don't desist from your points of disagreement. Because you don't have to be confrontational, fighting to make your points known. So with that, those will be my final words. Anything else before we close? That's my final words. Everybody watching, thank you so much for joining us today. It was a great show. I think I enjoyed it. Again, this time we'll be talking the problem, we'll not be fighting. When the problem happens, everybody on this platform, you can kind of toy your own. You who disagree with says, Alice, please score. You toy, we'll ask you the questions, and the answer will tell her what is what is where, and then the public can make that decision from themselves based on what they heard. Our rule here is that anything our panelists say can be used against them at home, or by their parents, or by their aunties, or by their uncles. So please don't call any of our panelists tonight. If you won't call, wait for the next show, you put your comment, they will respond to it because they are protected by the sanctity of this space that they can express their views and their opinion. Thank you very much. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.